Hey, let's hear it for Captain America. And welcome to my March edition of TBR Assemble. If you're new here and you don't know what TBR Assemble is, I will leave a link up above to my first video where I explained it, but essentially Thanos is coming and I need to collect the Infinity Stones and the Avengers to try and stop him. And on top of all the TBR Assemble, obviously I'm carrying on with the Avengers reading challenge. I will leave all of the prompts that each of these books is going to cover up on the screen here, and I'm also going to be doing Middle Grade March and also the War Games Readathon. Middle Grade March is just essentially reading middle grades and stuff like this, but the War Games Readathon, which is the second one I'm doing, it has separate paths. I will leave a link down below to the announcement video so you can check it all out, but essentially I'm going to be doing the grey path and the rebel path because I love a morally grey character and I love a rebel character, and so that's what I'm going to be doing. And with that explanation out of the way, let's get into the role. We're finally moving away from Wanda and going into a Bucky, and now if anyone can show me where I can find a Sam version of this, I'll be incredibly happy because I currently don't have one and I can't find one anywhere. So if anyone can give me a shout out or a recommendation of a shop where I can get a Falcon or a Sam of any kind, please do let me know because I am desperate for one. Right, let's go. Roll 1 is a 5, so I'm gonna go this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power. Gonna grab that one, and that is Groot, a middle grade for 3 points. I'm so glad middle grade was my first prompt. That's amazing and totally appropriate for this month. And for this prompt I'm going to be reading Bridge of Souls. Now this one is also going to be covering silhouette on the cover, strong family elements, and features a journey. And this one is also the third book in the Cassidy Blake series, which follows obviously Cassidy Blake as she's travelling around the world with her ghost hunter parents while they don't actually know that she can actually see ghosts. And it's just generally a great series. I know it's not V. Schwab's most popular book in the world, but I genuinely really love this series and cannot wait to continue it. Roll number 2 is a 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 soul fanfiction. Roll 3 is another 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mind. Oh, too many prompts there. Just quickly put them back in. And this one is Miss Marvel's Second Chance, so for 1 point. In terms of second chance author, this means second chance book or second chance author, which means giving a DNF a second try or reading another book by an author I previously haven't really enjoyed. So for this I'm going for second chance author and reading Wakanda Forever by Nnedi Okorafor. I did read the first book in her Binti series 2 months ago, I think it was, and it was my favourite. I did give it 3 stars, but I did find it a little bit sort of not lacking, but I felt like it could have done with a lot more world building and stuff like this. It just, the novella didn't really work for me, but I do feel like Nnedi could turn into a really good author for me, so I'm going to be giving Wakanda Forever a go instead. Roll 4 is another 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go for that one, and that is I Love You 3000 for 2 points. You can't see that. There we go. I Love You 3000 for 2 points. I Love You 3000 again, which is to reread a favourite book. Scardark Pleasant, Playing with Fire. This is the second book in the Scardark Pleasant series, and it is the second book we're going to be reading for the Dead Famous read along. I'll leave a link up above to the announcement video so you can check what I'm talking about. But essentially, this is a series by Derek Landy, all about a magical skeleton detective, and he's solving mysteries with his mate Valkyrie, who is a young girl who gets swept up into the world of magic. And it is fantastic. It's slightly gory, and I absolutely adore it. This is the second book in the series, and I just cannot wait to reread this one again and discuss it with everyone. This is also covering 2 separate prompts as well. That is features, adventure, and part of the series, because obviously, like I said, this is book 2, and I do think there's quite a bit of adventure in this one. They don't really leave Ireland, but it is quite adventurous in its own way. Roll 5 is a 1, so just pick another one out. Try not to bring out everything, and that is Wong, a library book for 3 points. For this library prompt, I cannot actually use the library, so I've had to change it to free choice, because at the moment my libraries are all closed in physical format, and on the Overdrive it won't let me log in for some unknown reason. I'm trying to fix that, but at the moment I have not fixed that, so instead I'm going to convert this into a free choice. Then my final roll is a 2, so pick too many out again. I'm just going to grab this one, and that is Avengers Assemble for 4 points. I am so glad that Avengers Assemble has come up as a prompt, because this is the perfect month to do it, because Avengers Assemble means to read an entire event in 1 month, and I've got 2 options for this. One is optional, one is definitely happening. Now obviously the optional one I'll go with first and explain that a bit more, because obviously WandaVision is ending in March, and that is very, very sad, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier is coming soon, and I'll go into what I'm reading for that in a second, because that is the second event I'm talking about. But the first event I'm talking about is the optional one, because it depends on what happens at the end of WandaVision. I'm still convinced that we are going to be getting a reverse House of M moment, so naturally I'm going to be trying to read, if it happens, if Wanda says the words "no more mutants," I'm going to be trying to read the entire House of M event, and that House of M event, I've got to put this down because it's really, really heavy and my leg's going numb because I'm resting it all on one leg, but that event includes Avengers Disassembled, which is currently happening, House of M, which I think will be coming in a reverse format, Messiah Complex, Messiah War, which is obviously the second bits to this, Second Coming, which is technically the end of House of M, Avengers vs X-Men, which is the continuation of that, and then finally Avengers Axis. And this one is optional, but I definitely want to reread it again because I've only read it the once and I am extra. Obviously I'm not going to be going into all of the spin-offs though, because that would take up my entire month and my TBR is already hefty. But as I keep on saying, if Wanda does say the words "no more mutants," all of this is getting read and I will be dropping everything to read it. But the event I will definitely be reading is the Civil War event. Now unfortunately Civil War was by Mark Millar, and I've had some problems with Mark Millar. I'll leave a link up above to my January wrap up where I explain my problems with Mark Millar's Ultimate comic, and unfortunately I do actually have to read this one before I read Death of Captain America, because it leads on exactly from where this one ends. So I do have to read it, so I'm just going to have to grin and bear it and just try to not remember the Ultimates comic because it was awful, so I can go on to read Death of Captain America. So I'm going to put down Civil War and just talk about Death of Captain America, because I don't really want to talk about Civil War that much. But Death of Captain America is essentially exactly what it says on the tin. Steve Rogers is killed. He is literally killed at the end of Civil War, and Sam takes over the mantle of Captain America. Now obviously we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out. I am ridiculously excited. You will see a few more Falcon and the Winter Soldier comics coming up in the next couple of months in terms of my TBRs and just generally Falcon and the Winter Soldier content on here, on TikTok, on my blog, which I'll leave a link to down below, and all the rest of it. But this is where Sam does take over the mantle. Obviously that's happening in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I do want to read this before Falcon and the Winter Soldier comes out, and so I can just sort of see how he's like in the comic and how he's like in the TV show. So very, very excited for this one. Not so much for Civil War, but it is an event. I do have to read that one before this one, and at least I didn't give any money to Mark Millar to buy that one because I got it in a charity shop. And that is the end of my specific roles, but obviously I have a couple more things to go through because I am extra and I have a lot of other things I want to read. Essentially there's a lot of other things I want to read, so I'm just going to start with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier comics and go into the other books. First comic I want to read is Derek Landy's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and if Derek Landy sounds familiar to you, it's because he writes Skullduggery Pleasant, so he is one of my favourite authors, and he has now written a Falcon and the Winter Soldier comic. And funny enough, I've been waiting to read this one since last September when it was meant to come out back then. And obviously it didn't because it got pushed back because of the virus, but now it's in my hands and it's taking me everything to not pick this up right now. But I want to read this on like the 18th just like the day before the TV show comes out, or maybe the day of the TV show coming out. Essentially, I want to read this when the TV shows come out, because this is about Sam and Bucky, obviously, who are Falcon and the Winter Soldier, after they've been Captain America and are now back to being Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't really know much else about this one. I just auto-buyed it because it was Derek Landy and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, essentially. I've said Falcon and the Winter Soldier so many times it doesn't sound like a word anymore, but moving on to some of the other comics now. All of these are not going to be on the list for this month. It's just, I'm just going to be picking and choosing from them over the next couple of weeks as the show rolls out. So the first one is the Winter Soldier Complete Collection, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It is a complete collection of Winter Soldier's stuff. And this one is where he's teaming up, obviously, with Black Widow, and he's going to be going to Latveria to fight Doom, also with the help of Wolverine and Hawkeye and Captain America himself, and that just sounded like fun to me. I do know that in the show they are also going to be fighting a classic Wolverine villain, possibly in Madripoor, which just sounds like fun, and so I just thought it'd fit quite perfectly. Also, I'm just Winter Soldier trash, so I obviously want to read some Winter Soldier stuff. I've also got these two Winter Soldier comics as well. I can't remember for the life of me what they're about. I just bought them because obviously Winter Soldier, I am Winter Soldier trash, so I cannot wait to read these two. And then I've also got all of this Sam Wilson stuff, and obviously again I'm going to be picking and choosing this as the show goes on, and I cannot wait. I cannot remember again what any of these are about, I'm not going to lie, but I do know that it's just going to be a really good time. And to find out more about Sam, I don't really see him that much in the comics, so I cannot wait to read stuff specifically about him. And then the final comic on this list that hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, is coming out this month is Strange Academy. What just dropped? I just dropped a Beauty and the Beast from up there. He can stay there. So this is Strange Academy. It's by Scotty Young, and it is essentially a comic about Doctor Strange setting up a school for magic users, very much like the Charles Xavier School for Mutants in New Orleans for magic users, essentially. He is teaming up with Wanda Maximoff, who is one of my favourite characters, just like Doctor Strange is. He's also teaming up with Ileana, aka Magic, another one of my all-time favourite characters, and also Hellstrom, who is a character I'm very, very interested in, and Brother Voodoo, who is another one I'm very interested in. It's by Scotty Young, who's one of my favourite comic book authors, and I just cannot wait to read this one because I'm just absolutely here for anything Doctor Strange, anything with that combination of characters, and anything by Scotty Young. The final three things I've got to mention are all books. The first one is Sanctuary by Karen Licks. Now this one is a sci-fi, obviously, and it's been described as X-Men meets Prison Break. This is all I really know about it. I just know that I'm very excited to read it, and it's part of the Avengers Reading Challenge, and it's going to knock off a ton of prompts, so I cannot wait. I've then got Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaefer, and this has been described as V.E. Schwab's This Savage Song meets Dexter, and I'm just here for that description. Quite frankly, that description just is right up my alley, and I cannot wait. And then finally, I've also decided to take part in the Witchlands along, which means I'm going to be reading Truth Witch as well, and I know nothing about this one further than it's a slightly political fantasy with witches. That's all I really know. I have heard so many great things, so I cannot wait to read this one and see what I think of it myself. Now that's all of the books I want to read, but I'm going to put a small caveat in here and say that because it's my birthday month, I'm giving myself an out here and say that if I do not complete all of the books on the rolls for TBR Assemble, I'm not going to hold myself to that, and I'm not going to hold myself accountable for that this month because it's my birthday month. I'm probably going to end up eating a lot of cake and getting distracted by everything that happens in WandaVision and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and probably get distracted quite hard by House of M. So if I do not complete all of the books on this TBR, I'm still going to count myself as winning. And that is the end of this TBR, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you're reading this month, and if you're reading any of the similar things I am, I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, and where I'm going to be talking a lot about House of M, WandaVision, and also Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'll leave a link down below if you want to check that out, and if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!